Another day, another scandal. A direct that's little more than an overview trailer. VRR gone from docked mode in Nintendo's website. Communication remains scarce. Why are they handling their pre-release like this? They're fueling the fire of those who seek nothing but to hate. No. We must look at the good side. There's a new generation of Nintendo right around the corner. A console crafted by smart and capable people. Games made by passionate developers and third-party support better than we could have ever hoped for. It's time to take a break from criticizing, and it's time to look into the reasons why you should be hyped for this console. Because there's plenty of reasons why you should be excited. And despite the current news cycle being dominated by doubt, there's some clear wins we can take out of this pre-release period. The hardware itself being a big one, from all of the footage gathered around the internet by those lucky enough to participate in the Nintendo Switch 2 experiences, we've been granted access to hours of pre-release hands-on footage with this thing. And while still exercising some caution, after all, the thing's not out yet, who am I to say we won't experience critical hardware failures when it gets widely distributed, I must say that I am really impressed. Seeing Metroid Prime 4 running at 1080p on 120 FPS, even through YouTube's compression, it looks gorgeous, and I can't wait to experience the elevated frame rates for myself. Seeing the mouse mode in action has also cast away most of my skepticism towards the feature. I already believed it would have been a great addition, but after seeing how Nintendo implemented it, I am astounded by the simplicity and seamlessness of it all. I was under the assumption that mouse mode would be just that, a mode you switch through the menu of a game. But seeing that being not at all the case has made me immeasurably happy and excited for all the possibilities that this feature will open up. Because not only is switching from analog to mouse as simple as picking up and placing down your controller, you can also do it on uneven surfaces. Before people got to play around with this, there was a concern that the mouse feature wouldn't be accessible to a lot of players that don't play strictly by a table in front of a monitor. And Nintendo has laid those concerns to rest. With the ease of use that this feature has been provided with, so many developers will be incentivized to use it in creative ways. Imagine the next mainline Zelda where you're playing the game as usual and run into a puzzle that requires you to draw a precise shape on a wall to guide a path of light onto a mirror. That can now easily be implemented through mouse mode while still being accessible to those who prefer gyro controls. And that's just talking about Nintendo's output. Third-party PC game producers will now have a much easier time porting their titles to the console too. And that's possible not only because of mouse mode, but because this machine is actually really competent for the price. Okay, I get it. Saying the P word in a video about highlighting the positives of Switch 2 is a bit controversial, but I want to make it clear that when I'm talking about the price, I'm referring to the price of the console itself, not the software. And yeah, for $450, this is the best deal on a handheld in the market. Even when taking into consideration current handheld PCs or the PlayStation Portal, nothing comes close to beating the price to performance of this little guy, at least for now. Combine the genuinely pretty impressive hardware packed in here for a handheld with the less demanding and easier to optimize for console operating system, and you have yourself a machine capable of doing extraordinary things for its size. This thing's running at like 10 watts on handheld mode. No joke, that's as much as some computers' RGB lighting is using. Not the hardware itself, just the lights. And in the box it comes with a dock that now has some extra stuff put into it, like a fan, allowing your console to run much faster while remaining cool. It also comes with a grip for your controller and straps for both your Joy-Cons. All things considered, the price of the unit itself is pretty great. Obviously, most of us were hoping for $400, but seeing that we got the upper end of what we were expecting in terms of build quality and hardware power, $450 isn't too much of an ask at all. Speaking of build quality though, magnets. Some of you may already know this, but the plans for the original Nintendo Switch were not to use rails to slot the Joy-Cons into place, but instead to use magnets. They even went as far as to mimic the sound the magnets would make when they click in place on the final release version. But now, they don't have to pretend anymore. They can fully realize that original vision on Switch 2 by using magnets to attach its Joy-Cons. Magnets should be better than rails. I saw people online skeptical of their durability, but really think about it. A rail system that is comprised of moving parts and requires direct physical contact to remain in place just won't be as durable as a magnetic attachment system. The average fridge magnet, if taken care of, can outlive us all comfortably. Not only that, but the worries surrounding this connector ended up being not justified. The controllers are designed in a way that even if you're purposefully trying to jam them in there carelessly, they won't fit in the hole close enough to touch the connector. And when they are touching, that means they're in position to snap in place through the magnetic system anyway. You can even connect your controller upside down and play that way. So Nintendo left no clear room for you to break these things without really trying to. And if we flash back to the original's release, the amount of people struggling to understand how to properly remove a stupid Joy-Con strap, those problems are just gone now. Unless the controllers are once again plagued by drift, which if there's one area where I'm willing to give Nintendo the benefit of the doubt, it's in this one. I don't think they're shipping controllers with that issue again, you'll be able to enjoy this console for years and hopefully the 8-year or longer generation ahead of us without it bursting into a million pieces while you're holding it or anything. It does feel like they made a premium product here. Okay, the hardware's faring pretty well against most scrutiny, but that's not what's most important. After all, it doesn't matter what size of RAM you're packing. It's all about how you're going to use it. And the Switch 2 seems like it's ready to push its hardware to the limits. With confirmation that games like Cyberpunk are capable of using DLSS on Switch 2 to provide smoother gameplay, the web of possibilities for new third-party ports seems almost endless. Practically anything out in the market right now could run on the Switch 2. Don't believe me? Just take a look at this. Assassin's Creed Shadows has apparently already been rated for Switch 2. That's right, not Origins or even Valhalla, Shadows. Ubisoft's most ambitious game ever is coming to Switch 2 sometime soon, and I bet that we're going to see many more impressive titles making their way in the Summer Games Fest period. Seriously, the thing's a beast for a handheld. Cyberpunk with the Phantom Liberty DLC, that was too much for last-gen consoles by the way, is targeting 1080p 40 FPS while in docked mode, making use of modern features. I can't even believe I'm saying that about a Nintendo product. In fact, I can't believe they're saying that themselves. It's clear to see through Nintendo's own Ask the Developer interviews that a large focus during the development of this next generation was placed on securing the approval of third-party studios. Nintendo went through great lengths to secure this support. It's a massive behind-the-scenes shift in philosophy for Nintendo that this generation in this market context specifically, I think will pay off massively for them. And for us. A couple years in, it might be viable to have the Switch 2 as your one and only console for both first and third-party games without feeling like you're missing out or playing lackluster versions of games. So let's talk a little more about said games, shall we? Mario Kart World. Looking past its initial absurd price tag and playing devil's advocate for the bundle a little bit, this is probably the largest, most impressive Nintendo game to release since Tears of the Kingdom in 2023. Since its initial unveiling, the community has been finding more and more impressive details hidden within these trailers. We're up to triple-digit numbers of characters and costumes, new ranked online modes, reworked item balancing, and less linear track designs. Overall, I'd say I'm feeling very confident in Mario Kart World. While I'm not so sure if I like the way they're handling the open world aspect of the game, having free roam as a separate mode with small-scale missions is a far cry from the Mario Kart Horizon we could have gotten, where the open world and races merge seamlessly into a wide interconnected game. Regardless of that, this game is going to be huge, and I'm excited to main my boy Cataquack. We're going all the way to the finish line with this one. Thank you, Nintendo, for supporting Cataquack rights. We've been neglected for way too long. Life hasn't been the same without you, and I'm so happy to have you back. Anyways. Donkey Kong Bonanza is the long-awaited 3D Donkey Kong game of our dreams. Nintendo's first real attempt at making a mainline DK game themselves with their internal development teams. Well, we technically don't know that yet, but come on. This looks like Odyssey, smells like Odyssey, feels like it could have been the Luigi's Mansion developers for some reason, and they're still going to need a 3D Mario game sooner rather than later, and well, crap. Okay, maybe there's still some wiggle room on who's behind this project, but it matters not, because for the purposes of this video, Donkey Kong Bonanza is a gorgeous 3D platformer the likes of which we haven't seen since Astrobot, and if you're too Nintendo-pilled for that one, since Mario Odyssey in 2017. The whole world being destructible is a mechanic so perfect for Donkey Kong I can't believe I had never thought about it before. In this game, DK is an absolute menace. Nothing can stand in his way as he wrecks absolutely everything around him with ease. A sandbox 3D platformer taken to the extreme. The map even updates in real time to depict the broken terrain. I can already picture all of the challenges and YouTube videos being made, seeing if you can destroy the entire world of Bonanza and how that would look. Also, it comes out a month after release. Nintendo's purposefully keeping their release window really stacked with games at the moment, but they still have no real big shot title announced to fill the holiday slot. Pokémon Legends ZA kinda fills that role, but it's also coming out on Switch 1, so are they really going to push that title above everything else? It looks like they're still missing that one big finisher for 2025. Kirby Air Riders will be great, but probably can't fill such an important slot. Metroid Prime 4 is also fantastic, but it's not gonna be given this privilege, come on. And the Duskbloods, on top of being a third-party title, it's already scheduled for 2026. What does that leave Nintendo with? Well, fellas, am I insane for thinking that, with a post-release June Direct all but guaranteed, and a 40th anniversary Mario Direct for September being really likely, has Nintendo still not revealed their biggest game for the Switch 2's first year? The better-than-expected performance, superb third-party support, high build quality of the console itself, and a stacked lineup of first-party games with more surely to come in the following months, it all comes together to paint a far different picture than the one most widely publicized at the moment. I fully believe that despite some missteps, we're not looking at a Wii U situation with this one. Not even close. I mean, people couldn't even identify what that thing was, for God's sake. No. The Switch 2 has done a lot right so far, but will the bad end up outweighing the good? For some? Yeah, sure, it probably will. If you're happy with your Switch 1 or PC and feel priced out of this new experience, you're not alone. And Nintendo's mistakes will hurt them by preventing an even larger audience from enjoying, and most importantly for them, spending on their products. But I don't think this is the Achilles heel it's been made out to be by some. There's no way Xbox or Sony or Valve are undercutting this price for their next console endeavors, both portable and not. And it's only a matter of time before the higher prices of games become a standard elsewhere too. All things considered, Switch 2 is dealing with a lot of the hate right now because it's leading the pack. It's releasing amidst a global trade war in a market that was already in crisis. Once the dust settles and people see this console for what it is, a much better Switch, there is no doubt in my mind that it will find its place amongst the greats in the history of video game consoles. So what do you think the future holds for Switch 2? Has Nintendo done enough good to warrant your purchase on day one, or will you be waiting this out for a while? Thank you so much for watching once again. Like, subscribe, and share the video as it helps more than you can imagine. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye!